Kyle Crabbs, Brentley Weissman of the Draft Network. And Brentley, it's almost time to flip the calendar to 2021, which means it's almost draft season for everybody else. It's always draft season here at the Draft Network, but almost draft season at the end of the NFL regular season. And one thing that we seem to battle every single year with draft season is overanalysis of blue chip prospects. And this is something that you and I have talked a little bit about one-on-one, and I'd be interested who some of the names are that you think are going to fall victim to the paralysis by overanalysis in the 2021 cycle.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is one of those things that in the draft process that really just always bothers me. Like, if we have an elite prospect who's been considered elite over an extended period of time, let's just leave them be and not try to find and pick holes in them just to, either take them down or move people up. But, a couple of guys I think that are probably going to, experience this over the next couple of months is Oregon's Ducks left tackle Penei Sewell, and then the LSU Tiger wide receiver Jamar Chase. And actually, I've already begun to see different circumstances of this already happening to those players. For example, with Penei, I wrote about this last week for the Draft Network on the website. People are trying to say, like, oh, is Penei, is he better suited at guard? Is he better suited inside? Is he really going to be like a really good franchise left tackle? Yes. The answer is absolutely yes. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, if he would have went in last year's draft with studs, Tristan Wirfs, Mekhi Becton, Andrew Thomas, Jedrick Wills, he would have been the first one taken. That's just what would it be. Like, we don't need to make it that hard. Penei is a future franchise left tackle. He has the athleticism, he has the length, and he's only 19 years old. I think he just turned 20, actually. So he's a young and ball of clay. Like, his upside is through the roof. And then with Jamar, he had arguably one of the best single season in college history for a receiver last year, facing SEC defensive backs. Like, yes, I love Jalen Waddle. I love Devontae Smith. I absolutely love them. But just because Jamar Chase isn't playing, we cannot forget how good of a prospect he is. Like, we just can't do it.
Out of sight, out of mind is really easy. And I think what's really funny about Penei Sewell and the offensive tackle projection in general is even if he's not what you expect him to be, there's always going to be that opportunity to move offensive linemen. But I'm personally the philosophy that you let guys fail outside and move inward. So for there already to be the question of, well, should we play him at guard? And I don't know if it's simply teams that don't really have a need at tackle that want to say, hey, we want to get a really good player in Penei Sewell. Can we just take him and play him at guard instead? I don't know if that's what it is, but teams will 1,000,000% bet on the physical upside of a guy like Penei Sewell, and they will let him work outside and fail his way inward. Because that was a narrative about Tristan Wirfs last year too, is he a guard? Is he a tackle? Can he play left tackle? At the end of the day, in the NFL today, you need 2 good tackles and you need 5 competent offensive linemen with a couple of studs sprinkled in amongst those 5. Penei Sewell's going to check that box either way, but the most valuable position on the line is that blindside blocker, and that's what Penei Sewell's done at a high level.
No doubt. And honestly, like, I don't necessarily think it's a negative when media or teams will say, oh, well, can we kick him inside? You love versatility. I mean, you do. You love it. But I just think in this certain circumstance, like, Penei, for what he does well in terms of his athletic ability and lateral movement skills and the things he might need some improvement on in terms of just his inline-based strength, I just think his talent and skill set is just better suited at left tackle. Not to say he can't be an all-pro guard. I'd probably bet that he could. But I just feel like you said, positional value, you probably would want an all-pro tackle over an all-pro guard. Just so happens Penei could probably be both. So again, not a negative, but if anyone was trying to use that kind of narrative as a way to push him down, I think that's where it probably needs to stop.
Now let's switch to, we're talking about positional value. No position more valuable than the quarterback position, right? And Zach Wilson from BYU has come in. He's been lights out. We talked about him in the TDN scouting staff meetings, and we're raving about him every single weekend. But You got a guy from Ohio State who's only played a handful of games. He's played 3 games, and he's thrown as many touchdowns as he's thrown incompletions. But he's the old name on the block versus the new name in Zach Wilson. I know you and I are both of the same thought. We love Zach Wilson, but we're not ready to put him QB2 over Justin Fields. But that inevitably is something that, if it's not already, and you start to hear some people assert that it could be the case, it's going to get even louder from here on out, no matter how good Justin Fields plays.
Exactly. It's the new shiny toy that everyone loves. And Justin Fields is the kind of he's an old, race car that you want to throw into your old toy bin now. Like Justin Fields, and again, yes, I love Zach Wilson. Like all in on Zach Wilson. I tweeted that out on Friday. He's the real deal. He's really good.
First-round quarterback.
Just 100% first-round quarterback, franchise dude, no questions asked. Justin Fields is closer to challenging Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, than Zach Wilson is as close to challenging Justin Fields.
I agree.
I think there's a sizable gap between Lawrence and Fields and then Wilson and Lance. I mean, Justin Fields, just in terms of the size, athleticism, and just the resume. I mean, he's dominating the Big Ten. And listen, I understand Wilson can't decide who he plays, but we have to trust the tape. You can't get enamored with everything that Wilson's doing compared to what Fields has already done and what he's continuing to do. I just think, as much as I love Wilson, let's not disrespect Justin Fields and the prospect that he is.